Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning, episode 458, back on the topic of the NFL today. We're going to be talking about Jared Cook, the tight end, going to the Los Angeles Chargers to evidently replace Hunter Henry, who has since joined the dark side in New England with Bill Belichick. Obviously, this is going to be different. Henry, Cook, different situation in LA. So Jay and I are going to be talking about what this really means for the Chargers. But before we get into that, question of the day, we want to hear from you Chargers fans whether you like Jared Cook more in LA with Herbert, or would you rather have Hunter Henry back in LA with Herbert? But again, Jay, what do you think this means for the Chargers?
I'm honestly a pretty big fan of this move. I obviously would have been fond of the idea of re-signing Hunter Henry, but Hunter Henry is getting right around $12 million in New England, and Jared Cook is getting right around $6 million in LA. And while Hunter Henry is better than Jared Cook, is he worth twice as much, and is he 2 times better than Jared Cook? Because that's what you would be paying him. To me, the answer would be no. And I think you Chargers fans, you've commented on the videos before, and I think the Chargers front office in general and team in general have a lot of faith in their backup at Donald Parham Jr. He's a 6'8 monster of a tight end, and really, no matter what he pans out to be and what Jared Cook pans out to be, production-wise, to me, you're paying $6 million for a great teacher for Donald Parham. I think Jared Cook, he's been around the league. He's been to Tennessee, he's been to the Rams, he's been to the Raiders, the Packers, he's with the Saints, and now he's with LA. Plenty of experience, plenty of wisdom. Yes, he has some issues and fumbling, and he's not the most consistent guy on earth, but he has knowledge and wisdom. He's almost like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of the tight end position, if you want to, I guess, compare the two. And I think he will give a lot of wisdom and knowledge to Donald Parham and help him emerge and become the monster he's gifted to be at 6'8". That's the size of a defensive end and Calais Campbell in Baltimore. So I think overall, there was a lot of speculation of, we lost Hunter Henry, let's move up and trade for Kyle Pitts. While I am still a fan of that move, I think them signing Jared Cook is a saying that if Kyle Pitts falls to us, we'll take it, but we're not going to, beg for a miracle and hope for the miracle. We're going to be conservative and draft the guy, and we're not going to be aggressive for Kyle Pitts. Like I said, if he falls to us, we'll draft him, but what falls to us is what we're going to deal with. We're not going to trade up and go out and sign a big tight end in Kyle Pitts and trade away all our draft capital. I get the move. I wish they would be aggressive and go for Pitts, which is still, I guess, on the table. It's not out of the equation. But as of right now, the Jared Cook signing, I think, isn't bad. $6 million isn't going to cost you a lot. And I think he could really help Donald Parham go to the next level, being 6'8".
That is a good point with the mentor aspect with Parham. Now, I'd be quick to say, if I'm a Chargers fan, I would rather see Henry stay, because obviously what worked, you want to keep around. Henry was obviously, him and Herbert had a good connection there. But when you look at Henry's stats last year, he had just over 600 yards and 4 touchdowns, compared to Jared Cook in New Orleans last year, had less yards at like 500 something, but had 7 touchdowns. So I don't know, just based off last year, you could argue that Cook is more or a better target inside or in the red zone. So I don't think this is actually, I think this is a good move. You brought up the cost. Of course, that's going to help the Chargers rebuild the O-line, which is their biggest issue. So I think I like this move overall. Jared Cook's been around for a long time. I don't know a whole lot about Jared Cook, honestly, but I do know he made that good catch from Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know what that was. We just talked about it 5-6 years ago, whatever it was. But to push the Packers to the NFC Championship over the Cowboys, so he's definitely got some highlights in his career. I think his career high receiving yards is 900 something or 896. So the guy can put up numbers. But yes, you bring up a good point with the big aspect being the fact that he can help Parham become as good as he can be with that physical size is insane. Jared Cook, last year, I know, being Bucs fans, we did watch a lot of football. We watched the Bucs a lot, and he did fumble late in the game against New Orleans to help the Bucs win. But that's just one of the things that comes to mind with Jared Cook. But he's certainly got a pretty good career. He's definitely solid, especially as a mentor, as Jay said. And I definitely think he can play good football. And I do think, even though Henry and Cook both 6'5", both roughly 250 pounds, they're very similar in size. But his stats, Cook's stats, do show he's better in the red zone and will give Herbert I think a better target in the red zone than Henry did.
Yeah, and like I said with Donald Parham thing, even if he doesn't pan out, Jared Cook will still probably be good for 3 to 7 touchdowns. I know that's a big range, but he is inconsistent. But either way, he will put up points for your team.
Last year had 7, year before he had 9. So
yeah,
it could be the top end.
It really
of that.
going to depend how much Herbert likes him. But I've said before several times, when I think of the Chargers offense that is emerging, I think of the Saints offense, because you have Austin Eckler being great out of the backfield like Alvin Kamara is with the New Orleans Saints, and then you have a great wideout in Keenan Allen that sometimes has to get double teamed just like Michael Thomas does in New Orleans, and then that leaves the separation to be so wide out that the middle of the field gets open, and that's where Jared Cook came in and had some big catches and big yards come and play for the New England Saints, and now he's with the LA Chargers. And like I said, I just think it's not going to be an exact overlap in comparison, but I just see it kind of coming together to be a similar production of the Saints offense, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I still don't think the Chargers are done in NFL free agency in general. They have a lot of moves. I don't want to say a lot, but they have a good amount of money to spend still. Their pass rush, they got one of the best pass rushers in the league, but he cannot do it absolutely alone. Melvin Ingram is a free agent. I know the Chargers probably want to move off from him, but you've kind of let guys go, and Hassan Reddick to I think it was the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. And, Matt Judon got signed to the Ravens. Not saying the Chargers are going to go out for one of those big-ticket guys, but still, you want to see a move happen at one point on the other side of the football. You got the tight end position addressed for now. Worry about the other necessities you need, and that is definitely pass rush.
Yeah, other options. You could have had Jonnu Smith. I don't know, other tight ends.
Robert Tonyan
from the Packers. There's other options. But looking at the stats, I just know off the top of my head, Jonnu Smith had 8 touchdowns last year, like I said. Cook had 7 in New Orleans, and that wasn't in New Orleans that had a Drew Brees that by no means had a great year. The Saints overall, yes, did. Drew Brees played solid football, but I do think in an offense with such a young, good quarterback like Herbert, and based off of the way he played with Henry was a lot of his targets were to Hunter Henry, so I think Cook can definitely pick up, not the slack, but pick up that role, plus even then possibly some in the red zone, like I said, with his ability to get separation in the end zone.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are kind of almost taking the approach of what we need to do is protect Herbert, and no matter who you put down the field, he'll make it work. He'll hit it right in the hands. And if you're an NFL player, you're a top star or the bottom guy, if your quarterback could get it in your hands, you're going to catch the football. And really, I think the Chargers are going to more focus on offensive line, and that's why they're not being aggressive at the receiving position, because they know Herbert will make it work as long as they make it work on his protection side. They signed Corey Linsley in a top center. They got Brian Bulaga. They're getting there, and I think even the NFL draft, they will further build out this offensive line and possibly make it one of the top ones quickly in just one offseason.
Yeah, and on that note, who knows what Brandon Staley has planned for this offense? He could have something. Yeah. Whatever type of offensive plan he has, Jared Cook could be the perfect guy. So again, guys, that's all for the video. As far as what we think, Hunter Henry versus Jared Cook, overall, I think this is the right move.
Yeah, just value-wise and money-wise, I'd go with Cook.
Yeah, but again, comment below what you think about this move, especially you Chargers fans. But that's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. 2 Minute Warning.